So pennies are, so everybody that I know makes jewelry. Not everybody, but lots and lots of people make jewelry, so it's really hard to be original. So I'm constantly looking for things that would make my jewelry stand apart from the rest. So as it happens, one day I was stamping metal, trying to come up with something different, and I was in my dining room, which is where my dad's ashes are, and also a large jar of pennies that belonged to my dad. We found them in a box in his house after he passed away, and I kept the pennies, and I don't know why I kept them, but I just did. And I had this idea that I could possibly use pennies, not only because of my dad, but also I like the idea of taking something worthless and making it worth something, especially given that I had a really nasty bout with depression and anxiety last year, and I thought that I'm not the only one that needs a little daily encouragement and needs to be reminded that I'm not worthless. So pennies are considered worthless, so I wanted to take something worthless and turn it into something that was worth something. So it has a dual purpose. It is meant to be encouraging, but it's also kind of a project with my dad, even though he's passed away. So quite a few of my dad had a lot of pennies, which is funny because everybody said that my dad died penniless. I keep making this joke. He died penniless, but he had all these pennies. So there's a lot of pennies that are his. I don't know what I'm using anymore, whether they're his or the ones that I found, but after I found all these pennies in his house after he died, I just started collecting pennies. Like I stop and pick up every penny. I always look at the year. I think about like where my dad was in that year, or if it was after he died, what he would be doing. And they always just remind me of my dad. I feel like pennies are my dad's way of saying hi wherever he is. So I don't know if they're his pennies or the pennies that I've picked up along the way, but I kind of consider all of the pennies as gifts from my dad. So depression is a thing that I've had for a long time, and anxiety is a thing that I've had for a long time, but I wasn't actually diagnosed until this last year, and it kind of made a lot of things make sense. And of course I was diagnosed because it was really, really bad. So this year that I've been healing and creating and working on these pennies and getting more in touch with my dad now that he's passed away is through the course of getting to know my dad, I found letters from him that talk about it's not the mailman, it might be a bunny. So I found these letters from my dad. I had read them right after he died and kind of had like this idea that he might have suffered from depression, but I wasn't really knowledgeable about it, and I didn't think at the time that I had any personal experience with it. But I reread them recently and discovered that my dad definitely had depression, and he never talked about it, and I didn't know about it. And I think that his depression and not talking about it fractured our relationship pretty severely. And then just the more I learn about it and the more I deal with my own, I just know that people don't talk about it and they are ashamed of it, and it's like this mental illness stigma that people wear. So I'm helping to bring it to the surface, which a lot of people are now these days, which is awesome. But I think it's really important to talk about it, you know? I don't think people should suffer in silence or die feeling like they're alone. So I just feel very strongly about it. And every time I give somebody a penny, or they see what I'm doing, or I talk about it, and they share their personal stories with me, it just reminds me that this is the right thing to do, and that it's really valuable and important to talk about mental illness and how we each struggle.